In North America, we've kind of misconstrued yoga in so many different sort of incarnations, and as we'll get into when we get into the theory behind it, yoga is actually a healing science. So it was a therapeutic science, you know, originally, and it still is. So the fact that it's sort of been kind of reduced to its lowest common denominator a little bit in North America to be just a physical practice is really just the illusion of our culture. Don't be, you know, thwarted by that, and certainly be encouraged by the fact that this is a very, very exhaustive science, and that I have been studying it for over 30 years, and I still have only touched a tiny surface of what it has to offer. So from that perspective, we're going to dive in, you know, this weekend to some of these concepts in a very little way. One of the challenges I had in writing this program and the training, because I'm a bit of a philosophical junkie, I love the background of yoga. I love the, you know, the science behind what it is. But I also recognize that I'm teaching, you know, a 15-hour program, and we're not all going to be yoga teachers, nor are we all going to go into this, you know, in a very deep way necessarily philosophically. But that doesn't mean that you can't understand the precepts and the context of what we're working with in a very, very, you know, layperson's user-friendly way. And so for me to bring that, my kind of, you know, conceptual mind out of, you know, the theoretical thing from a perspective of looking at it like that into a layperson's language was the challenge. I know you know me. I get a little bit wordy in writing this program. So I'm really open to feedback on, you know, how this program works and what we can do to make it better. But I'm excited about what's come out so far. So that's kind of where we are now. I know somebody had asked, I'll just give you a bit of the background on the program itself. ART, the Art of Living Well with Yoga training program, is the acronym. ART is the acronym for Adaptive, Restorative, and Therapeutic. So these 2 days are the adaptive component, which is, you know, a very important component. But then we move to another weekend at some point in time. I'll give you those dates possibly after, and we look at restorative. And restorative is a whole different can of worms. Now, it's not to say that you wouldn't do restorative work with your adaptive clients, but we couldn't fit all the theory and all the, you know, the practical stuff around restorative into a 15-hour workshop and adaptive. So we've separated them out. So we've got adaptive one weekend, restorative one weekend, and then the last weekend is therapeutic. And that's where we get into more of the actual science behind the healing of yoga, the healing power of it. And we look at, we've got on our faculty some people here, but we have other people on the faculty who work with cancer patients, who work in palliative, who work in these type of environments where the therapeutic end of it is a bit more, that's called in there. It's a little less physical, a little bit more working with the energetic system. And in that weekend, we also get into your care. So that looks at, you know, therapeutic aspects for you as practitioners. How can you take better care of yourself? We'll touch into Ayurveda a little bit that weekend and self-care practices, and that's sort of the 3-weekend nutshell. So, any questions? And don't feel you have to do all 3. This weekend is in and of itself a complete training, and yet, you know, there's obviously so much more. So that's kind of the lay of the land in terms of what we're offering in the workshops. I just want to say, way to go for getting here. I just noticed, you know, from like 5:30 this morning when I woke up with Fiona, thank you, bless your heart, to getting here. It takes us a lot of effort to do anything in life, and especially nowadays, and especially taking 2 days out of your busy schedules to make the time financially, personally, energetically, to carve out this space for you to learn. So bless your hearts and congratulations, because that's the first biggest step, you know, to the learning curve. The willingness to take it in, and you all have done that. So way to go. You're in for a really fun weekend. We do lots of crazy things to keep the learning alive and active. So be willing to be silly. Because silly helps the brain absorb, and we change our kinesthetic modalities a lot, and we're learning about that because that helps us with our clients. Kinesthetic modalities there's 6 of them. So there's going to be sight, sound, touch, feeling, smell, taste, and we're going to add one more in, imagination. So those 6 modalities, we're going to be really kind of stretching our ways around them. We have a little Trinity Yoga state change thing because we need to state change the brain. The brain loves to be concentrated for certain snippets of time, not multidimensionally concentrated as we've learnt now with somatic psychoscience, but it likes to be concentrated, and then it likes to shift and break that concentration. So we do a little thing, Cherry and Sophie, will you guys show the body, mind, spirit chant?
Sure.
So you kind of, if you're sitting, you can stay sitting, but if you want to crouch, you're going to be doing body, mind, spirit, you! And that would be a jump if you want, or whatever you want, just to shake the energy and move it around. And Jolie loves that, don't you?
You love that, chat.